Oh, what up, y'all? We're we're back. Pardon the interruption. Small technical stuff. We had to make some things happen. But again, we are here with my pillar Don, and we are talking about her three beautiful little daughters and sickle cell and her foundation and the kickball tournament that she got coming up where TLA will lose again. If y'all missed all that, Team EMI, Team EMI beat up on Team TLA and things like that yesterday. And then we went and did karaoke and we beat them again. And now we're gonna try to draw them into this whole kickball situation so we could beat them again. Them and whoever else comes out there. Cause
bragging right.
Yeah.
Y'all can keep
Shout out to Bobby Peoples. What up, big bro? Yeah, but so how I know you were talking about your daughter and when she had a stroke and in school undetected. How young were they when you found out? Was it like from birth or did it kind of?
Yeah, sickle cell is diagnosed, and that is one of the good things now. Every child, I want to say every black child, but every child is tested at newborn born screening. If you don't get any word back, that means your child is okay in terms of sickle cell. But yeah, I found out at least 2 to 3 weeks after they're born, and just to start medical care because that's very important.
So I like when you talk about with the trait not being just with blacks.
Right.
It's diverse.
Yes.
But you know how color folks do. Like they'll something to happen and they're not really gonna research it too much.
Right.
How before you started your foundation, like how adamant were you on making sure you got the information, or was it kind of you started the foundation and just learned more and more as you went, or did you kind of hit the books first?
Well, definitely after my first daughter, I started hitting the books.
Gotcha.
Because it was a tough, and it always is a tough diagnosis to get. Before I founded the organization, I used our life journey. Like I post on social media about different things that's happening in our life, the good, the bad, the ugly, just to educate people about what the disease is. And so by the time the foundation came around, it was more of a smooth transition. It was more of a we kind of knew you were going to do something. You know what I mean?
we saw this coming.
I've always been about sickle cell because really sickle cell is my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So through the foundation, it was more of a single mother raising 3 daughters with the disease. And, in a way feeling a little overwhelmed in terms of the lack of support. Right. And looking around, trying to see where to look for support, and there's a big void. So I decided to be that change I was looking for. And I didn't know where I was going to find the time because I don't have any. I still don't know where I found the time from. But, when you care about something and when you're committed, you tend to find that extra time. You don't know where you get it from, but you're going to find the time. So, yeah.
And I don't know if you guys heard earlier, but she brought some information for us.
Yes.
and stuff. But I was just reading this one and I didn't realize that there's 1,000 babies born every year with the sickle cell. Yeah, that's no.
100 have it.
Americans.
Okay. But every year, 1,000 babies are being born.
Yeah, that's
right.
I didn't see that.
In about maybe 2 years ago, I remember because the stats just got updated about 2 years ago to 1 in 365 Black or African American in the United States has the trait. No, I'm sorry, is born with the disease every year. Second to that are Hispanics, 1 in 16,300. So we have to educate our Hispanic brothers and sisters as well, because without education, that number will grow.
Now, seeing how fluidly it comes out when you start talking, do you do like different like speak at like different speaking engagements at all, or?
Yeah, I was just telling her I'm shy.
And then I could tell when I asked.
Passionate, so that
Yeah,
usually
I could
takes
tell
away
when I
the
asked how you
shyness.
kind of froze, like, oh God, he's about to invite me to an event. I
No.
wasn't yet.
No, people. It's crazy that you said that. I had a college reached out to me, a local college. They're called Fortis of Smyrna. They reached out to me about a week and a half ago. They're literally just giving me an auditorium, filling it up with their students. It's like, educate us. And I always tell people I'm not a doctor. You may ask me a question that I just don't know.
You are a doctor. Moms get that label.
But I have a lot of experience, and I speak from that. And they reached out because they wanted to do something during the month of September, because that is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. One of their students has sickle cell, and she's one of the most resilient people that they know, and they really didn't know that she had it. But she reached out to them last year because there was a lot of, passion behind cancer awareness. Mm-hmm. And she reached out to the administration and was like, I hope we can do something in September too for sickle cell, because I battle sickle cell. And she just shared a little bit of her story. And so they
Speaking
reached
of
out
doctors,
to me.
we have a doctor of love on the line. What up, Bobby Peoples?
They reached out to me. Hey, Bobby. I know Bobby. They reached out to me, and I am going to be speaking there in September 11th and the 13th, because they have day and evening classes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like something we should be able to support.
Yeah, I always
Keep
look
me
for
posted.
opportunities. Absolutely. I look for opportunities to come out into the community. We bring out we give these out. And if you're not able to come to one of our events, definitely go to our website, my3sicklers.org, and request a brochure. And what that means is I'm going to send you, my
A
card.
little bag? Do they get a little bag?
No, they don't.
Y'all ain't special.
They're not special. We get a bag.
I got a bag.
You get my card. You get this flyer that has some stats about sickle cell. And this is only the United States, you guys, but sickle cell is global.
Yeah.
It's global. You get this about dispelling the misconception that only black people have sickle cell disease, because you'll be hard pressed to not find sickle cell disease in all countries in this day and age. It's 20 to 25 million people affected.
Wow.
And then you get this brochure. So I mail it across the United States. People go to the website. All you gotta do is request it, and I'll mail it to you.
Nice. Real quick before we go on, a couple shout outs. I see my folks popping in. Bobby Peoples, what up? Jack Trey, what up? Bobby Lord Infinite Stevens, aka DJ Agony, what up though? Vitella's watching. Wow.
Oh, nice.
Denise Richardson, Jay Matthews, what up, bro? Tamika Savoy, I see you.
That's my sister Bethany Robinson.
Yeah, she's in there too. I'm just playing.
Like, she been tuning in every week. She been faithful. Family don't be faithful. My sister been faithful.
I was just playing, boss. I was just
if
playing.
any of my
Hey,
people
family.
are watching, hey, shout out Team Sickle Cell.
So, how old are your daughters right now?
All right, so we have Tuli. Tuli is 14 now. I'm sensitive about this because I can't believe my kids are growing up. So Tuli is 14. She'll be 15 in January. Khadija is 13. She turned 13 in June. And Hadra just turned 9 in, August 9th. She
Turned 9
Yeah.
on the 9th.
I know.
Wow. And these are some beautiful little girls, man.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about this kickball situation that you are doing, and what year are we in?
This is our third year. Before I go into the tournament, if you don't mind, I want you
absolutely.
guys to know why we will really appreciate you guys to come out and support, and what your support is going to be doing. I think people tend to respond more with that.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
like I said, the purpose of this organization is not only to bring awareness to the disease, it's also to support families. And through the organization, for the last 2.5 years, we're going to our third year come November, we've been able to send over 100 kids to summer camp.
Nice.
It's a week-long camp for just kids with sickle cell, and to me that's super important because, and I say this to people, I don't wish my situation on anybody, but my kids have something that is quite unique within the sickle cell community. And that's not to say I'm the only parent with multiple kids with sickle cell, but they happen to have each other. They can relate to each other. In most households with sickle cell, the child is the only person, or that person is the only person in the family. So there's really nobody to relate to, but this 1 week of the year, they get to be around people who understand exactly what they go through, and that is so close to my heart, and trying to give that to kids. So we pay for kids to go to camp, and this year was actually the first year we paid for the entire camp.
Wow.
Nice.
So parents didn't have to come.
Pow, nice.
Parents did not have to come from, they didn't have to pay for the camp. We paid. And something else that we do, we've prevented families from being evicted. We've paid utilities. Whatever we can do to support the community, we do. Like I said, we send information to anybody who will ask. You just got to go and ask for it, and we send you information. We have a birthday club where we send birthday presents to sickle cell patients all over the United States. All you got to do is fill out the form. And we've sent presents to kids as young as 1-year-olds to as old as 63. Because when you have a condition, a chronic condition, and this is not just sickle cell, but if you have a condition that's trying to take, run your life or make you feel like tomorrow is not promised, not that it's
chronic condition that runs your life and makes you feel tomorrow is not promised. I have that. They're called friends.
It's, every birthday, it's a big freaking matter. You know what I mean? It matters so much. So we just want to be a part of that. We just make them feel special on that day. So we send out birthday presents, and we just try to do whatever we can to support the community. So you coming out on the 1st of September to kick off Sickle Cell Awareness Month will help us continue to do that. You will help us spread awareness into the community, because that day is all about having fun, but also spreading awareness. We're going to be talking about sickle cell. We're going to have information about sickle cell. You're going to also, you may get bragging rights if your team wins. I know he's
already done.
You come out for the bragging rights, if anything.
Yeah, Bobby People says dealing with family members with sickle cell can become stressful because you see your loved ones suffer and there's not much you can do to help them. It's good that there are people like you to help support and uplift them. He had no one to help him but the support of course, God. He said his first wife had sickle cell and the twins have the trait. So shout out to Bobby Peoples. Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Peoples.
Hey Bobby, yeah, and I didn't know that. But that is something that a lot of people, hey, that's one of my designs.
That is you.
That's something a lot of people, we tend to, and I'll say we as the community, sickle cell community, we tend to suffer in silence. And I think it's because for so long we felt like nobody cares. And so we don't share what's going on. It is an arduous task, a very tough journey. It can feel like, oh, here we go again. Like family members may feel like, oh, this is always happening. They may feel like, oh, you're in the hospital again. Well, you should be used to it by now. They may not say it, but in the way that people react to it, the fact that they don't come by anymore to see you, they don't call anymore. You have a lot of people going through sickle cell who feel very alone. Yeah. And they go through those pain crises in the hospital with nobody visiting them. So one of the things that I always encourage people to do, check up on people you know who have sickle cell, even if it's just to say hello. How are you doing? Because it can be very lonely.
He
I'm
just
so
said.
sorry for your loss.
Yeah, he just said. So that's true. Bethany said she doesn't have it, but she knows people who does, and it's good to inform them and spread the word. Absolutely. Make sure you give them share her website.
Absolutely.
And that way they can get some more information
Right.
and
Donate, please.
that too.
Right.
Man. So we're gonna take a quick break. We got a little bit of music we can play. We still got to support our friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
And I just
Some of these
posted that
artists.
website again, my3sicklers.org.
thank you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna jump into a little song right quick. And because these people have been supporting us, I try to do my part in supporting them. Between music or showing up at some of their events, because a few of them actually showed up at it was this shindig that we had a couple weeks back.
For your birthday?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
I'm still getting tagged in pictures and all that other good stuff. So I definitely appreciate everybody that came out, and especially those that performed. So I definitely want to say thank you to you guys and shout y'all out. DJ Agony, I didn't forget you, dog. I just seen the year go across my screen again, so I know you in the building. Appreciate you, Bobby. He said y'all have fun. Renee about done cooking, so he about to go eat. Love the DTTO show, and we love you right back, big dog. We will. Can you email me a plate?
We'll be there in a minute.
Inbox it or something.
We'll be there at 10:30.
But yeah, y'all keep what y'all got it, man. This is the 3-time award winning, and I can hear Agony right now. 3-time. It's the DTTO Show. It's your boy Soccer Boss.
And it's your girl boss, Lady V.
We'll be right back.
Hey, man, I do this for the fans and the supporters. Love you to the end, bro. All my nigga family. Fuck, I need a friend, bro. Niggas talk hard, but I be goddamn if I feel dope. Even give my haters benefit of my experience. Whoa! That being said, I got the right to be an asshole till they return what I earn rightfully. So no matter what they say to me, bitch, they better say it with some R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Say you don't respect my gangster, them bitch respect my business. Me and them niggas at your door like we Jehovah's Witness. Ass on my mama, dog. I'm here with Cupid Addo. I'm in love with the money. I'm about to tell her hello. Hello, 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 hello. All the shawties used to act like they ain't know me. Hello, 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 hello. All the haters hope a nigga don't make it. Hello, 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 I'm grinding hard as if everything was dependent on it. And I'm going hard like my flawless flow and some men about it. Ain't never knew no other way of taking actions. I ain't with the talking, dog. I just make it happen. Yeah. And that's the only way that I know. Get it how I live. We ain't promised tomorrow. Promise mine to blow up. Something like Apollo. Far by the bomb like a moment. Yeah. What you know about that? Got the hood on smash like fuck a platinum plaque. And I'm still on fire from the flow to a barrel. Chain on the chain, shout it, it's trying to tell them hello. Hello, 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 hello. All the shawties used to act like they ain't know me. Hello, 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 hello. All the haters hope a nigga don't make it. Hello, 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 hello,
Hello, hello, hello. Shout out to the
might
homie Young
come
Dirt,
to me.
man.
It might come to me once you ask.
Shout out to Young Dirt, man. That's the homie from Carolinas. He's another one that's very supportive of what we got going on. So I had to show him love. But yeah, again, shout out to Bobby Peoples. I think he just said our plates will be ready. I hope that's what he said. Anyway,
Thank you.
you might want to check with Renee and make sure.
And they like, don't be involved in it. I don't cook that much.
I ain't got you no plate. She's gonna say cut. So, man, what were you? I know you were just asking a question too.
Yes. I guess I just these are some hard questions to ask because it's a touchy subject, and I'm completely illiterate to all of it. Like I've probably, like most people, just have heard about it, but I don't really know how it affects your body. Like what are the symptoms, and how do you treat it? How do you live more comfortably in your day-to-day life? Those kind of things.
Well, first of all, it affects, like I said before, it affects everybody differently. But it's important to make sure that you're seen by a doctor, somebody they're called hematologists. They specialize in blood disorders. And so that's number one. Number two is making sure you're eating healthy. Keeping hydrated is super important because the nature of the disease is that for you and I, our blood cells are round and flexible, and they can flow through the body just beautifully, and everything is good. But with a person who has sickle cell disease, their blood cells get sticky and hard, and they develop this sickle shape, which is where the name comes from. And so that makes it really hard for the blood cells to go through your blood vessels easily. And and when they sickle, they can get clogged in your blood vessels and prevent those and prevent oxygen from going to major organs. And so when that happens, and because you have blood in every part of your body, it can affect any part of your body. Sickle cell can lead to, blindness. It can lead to, of course, extreme pain. Like, it's one of those things, if I could, I would take it away from my kids in a heartbeat, because you're watching your loved ones go through some of the most unimaginable pain, and there's nothing you can do about it. Little babies are on morphine. And sometimes it don't even help. It can lead to impotence for men. It can lead to stroke. It can lead to acute chest, because what happens is when you're in pain, and that's what anybody, it hurts to breathe. But you need to breathe. And so that's what my daughter was battling at the end of her stay. We were in the hospital last week for like a whole week. We went in there with a pain crisis, and by the end, we had to wait at least 4 days for her to be able to breathe on her own before we could leave.
Wow.
Because when you stop breathing, you don't get enough oxygen to your lungs, and then you have to build that muscle back up. So sickle cell is just a very comprehensive disease that can affect any part of the body. You know what I mean?
There's kind of no limit to the symptoms.
There is no limit, because and certain things that will happen can lead to other things happening. Like there are a lot of people who rely on chronic blood transfusions, like my daughter, in order to make sure that they're leading a healthy, as normal a life as possible. But chronic blood transfusions can lead to iron overload, which can lead to your kidneys, being defective down the line. So it's just like I said, very comprehensive, and it's kind of hard to just give you like a blanket statement, because some people are affected, some are not quite as affected, and for some you may be okay right now, but as you grow, Like my daughter, the oldest, who's going through a pain crisis, until January, she hadn't had a pain crisis in like 5 years. So now we're thinking, okay, what's going on? And I'm always, I'm big on their mental health, you know, and I'm always like, are you stressed? So I try, as a mother, I try to keep them away from stress, which means I need to stay away from stressful things. So I'm trying to, you know, get in her psyche.
That's why we didn't have Agony here tonight. Wanted to make sure you was good.
So I'm trying to get in. I'm like, is there anything wrong? And, you know, of course, kids at a certain age, they don't want to talk to their parents. Yeah. And I'm no special. I'm no different than that. But just trying to make sure she's not stressed and nothing, you know, nothing's going on that she doesn't feel like she can talk to me about. And I have them talking to, you know, people at the hospital, make sure all is well. Just there's no set way to answer that question, and I hope I did my best in answering.
Yeah.
But, you know, just from the jump, I think it's just important for people, for everybody in this day and age, whether you're black, white, blue, orange, know your status. Know your
Yes, she's talking to you, Mr. Trump.
Know your status. Know if you have the sickle cell trait. There are white people with the sickle cell trait. You know, you have white kids who have sickle cell disease now.
We have a question from Jay Matthews. He asked, is it similar to lupus?
I don't know. I know lupus is an autoimmune disease. I don't know that much about lupus to know if it's any similar. What I know in terms of the similarities is that, why do I not know about lupus? Like, there's not that much awareness out. Right. It's one of those things that, not that people don't care, but the powers that be who can make funding available don't care. Like, we should know about these. It's I don't know much about it to speak on it, but yeah.
We do have a response from Bethany. She says yes because the.
You gonna read that?
I was going to. I mean, I started to read Agonies until I seen the FU saga. You know,
like a nurse.
But see now see when you said something about impotence and I said keeping you away from stress. You know, that's why Agony wasn't here. In my head, I heard his response. Jack, in my head, I heard his response. And then I looked down, and lo and behold, I take the other symptoms, damn the impotence. I heard that in my head, and he types it.
Like
my dog.
You can't choose.
It's my dog.
No, go ahead and read Bethany's nurse quote.
What's she saying?
She says yes because the musculoskeletal central nervous system and renal manifestations are similar in both diseases, so it's sometimes difficult to tell them apart.
Oh, thank you.
That's my
so
sister.
Much, Get it.
She's smart.
Get it.
She got education.
She got education.
Hey.
She looked for books with words in them, not just pictures.
Let me just say, because we have a nurse on there, and this is not taking a dig, but that just reminded me, something that sickle cell patients deal with a lot is stereotyping. And one of the biggest issues is that they are in the hospital, they're treated like they're faking. Or because sometimes it's not easy to see why this person is hurting. Right. And if medically there's no reason for you to be hurting, a lot of patients go through nurses and even doctors withholding medication from them, or even just flat out saying, you're not hurting. And especially now with the opioid, I can't say the word. I'm from Africa. I'm sorry that I shouldn't have said that. How do you say that word?
Opioids.
The issue with the drug problems.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people take into account those people who are living with chronic diseases and what it's doing to that population, because now their medications are being rationed, where a person may have typically gotten medication for 30 days. Mm-hmm. It's like 15 days. And sometimes they're getting really, really hard roadblocks in order to be able to get their medication. So definitely we have to advocate for people with chronic illnesses across the board, because especially with the drug epidemic right now, and the fact that now it's being legislated
There they go.
and looked into very vigorously, the sickle cell community is being heavily impacted. Yeah. I just wanted to say that. Shout out to Daphne. Thank you for
and shout out to Eddie Tosh.
what Eddie say.
I love this program. I love when I see that stuff.
Hey.
Keena, that's you too?
No,
Keena
Keena
Reed?
is my people.
Okay, that's your people.
Shout out to your people.
Shout out, Keena.
Hope Martin.
Hope says you can't see pain, but they try to judge it all the time. Like
Amen.
that's
Amen.
yeah, that's a tattoo right there.
When they can't see it, I mean, it's okay to feel helpless that you know, I'm sorry, I can't help you, or I'm just not sure why this medication isn't working. There's a way you can say that without having to make the person feel they're already stressed. And
I mean, and that's with a lot of stuff. Like I've bumped my knee before, so man, that ain't hurt. How are you gonna tell me that didn't hurt? Like,
Right.
so for someone that like you said has chronic pain, you can't tell them how
So
bad
they
they're hurting.
test for it by doing what? Just
It's a
testing
simple
the
blood test. Yeah, it's a blood test that your doctor should be able to perform. If not, my organization doesn't do testing, but the Sickle Cell Foundation of Georgia is definitely a good resource to reach out to if you wanted to get screened for sickle cell. Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Shasha, what up? Brian K. Rollins, what up?
Shasha.
Man, this is definitely. I mean, y'all doing all this typing. If y'all want to ask her a question yourself,
For
feel
sure.
free to call in. You know,
If
I'm
you
just
have
saying.
questions about the
Type in.
tournament, let's not forget the tournament.
That too. 470-251-4707. Y'all call in and holler at us, man. You can congratulate us on whooping TLA last
my
night.
God.
Or
Future kickball
we
win.
could talk about the future kickball. With good, you took the words right out of my mouth. You know, however y'all want to do it.
She's gonna be the coach, right? Like some people don't want to.
Oh,
Don't
no,
wanna
she-
play.
Why I gotta be the coach?
No,
Did you want to come play?
Hold on.
she's
First off,
she's competitive.
Those who don't do teach.
Hey.
I do. And I've been playing kickball since in the hoods of Pennsylvania
Hey,
with the little
okay.
Mexicans.
My
The Mexicans
bad.
told me they call it football. They call it football.
Yeah.
I'm about to say
Everything
everything
is
is football.
and we was playing back in the day. So I'm just saying.
Oh, I played for a couple of seasons,
Get ready.
and a lot of people are like, you should play, but no, I'm so busy that day. I stopped actually when I started modeling because I didn't want to risk injury, because it is
That
not.
makes sense.
You ain't want to do a swimsuit with an ankle brace on. I
You
got
know
you.
what I
That
mean?
makes sense. It makes sense.
Because
I'm too competitive for that, so I have to.
it
the
gets
chance.
really real. Kickball is no joke in Atlanta.
I was about to say that kickball is huge here.
It's huge,
They should call
and
it
they
Shout out
Basketball.
to my homie
They
Teresa
go
Oves
in.
and her team, because I know they've been playing for some years now. Like they got a
Yeah.
whole I believe it's an all women's kickball
Yeah.
league that they
I
have.
need pictures and names so
Oh
I can
yeah.
gotta plot my.
I'm trying to recruit her
Oh
now.
yeah. They,
Jay Matthews, when is the game, sir? September 1st.
September 1st. The date, a way to remember is September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and I thought it was appropriate because it's one of my favorite sports to play, to kick off Sickle Cell Awareness Month with a tournament. So what happens is the first Saturday in September, you can guarantee we're gonna be playing kickball.
So you kick off Sickle Cell Month by kicking the ball around.
Yes.
And if you're on my team, that means you came to kick some ass. Shout out to DJ Agnew. He said, "Oh Lord, tell Vitel she was playing soccer." Bless her heart.
You know what?
Football.
You ain't even supposed to be here today. Go somewhere and do some things.
So what? As far as the tournament, how many? I know you said there was a lot of people. How many teams do you kind of normally have?
Minimum of 6 teams is what we're looking for. That's a good number to have a full day. If we happen to have more teams, we do have access to the field for Saturday and Sunday. It's just never grown to where we can do that. But 16, at least 6 teams.
How many teams do you have right now?
I have 4 teams.
She got 4 teams, y'all.
So we gotta
But
get
I don't want just 6 teams. We can do more. Teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ernest Moore, sir.
ready.
Team EMI. I'm gonna need y'all to get on board with me for this. And what's the registration for the teams?
For teams, it's better, financially for people. I mean, for us, we would like you guys to come individually and sign up because it's $25 per.
Okay.
But as a team, you get to save some money, and it's $250. So at least 12 people, between 12 and 20. So depending on how many people you have on your team, they can pay less money.
Oh, we can't get TLA. They gonna have like 6 teams because they got like 45 models, and now they got the junior division. And you said it is family friendly.
It's family friendly. We have kids that play in the tournament. It's co-ed, and that is something I do like to stress because again, the female leagues are very popular in Atlanta. And we have had people who came and took it a little too seriously and were upset.
It's frowned upon. Is it frowned upon to trip or push a little kid?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm competitive. I'm competitive. If you on first base and I'm coming and you got the ball, I'm running you over.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
competitive.
We're really trying to make it a family event, like a fun event that we can grow every year to even bring on other illnesses like lupus, where people can, display information about different conditions and even have screenings for HIV or sickle cell, just different things. It is a big venue, and we definitely have space for it, and there's room for growth. So
what up, Dee?
That is my dream of.
Keena, that's too much to read. I'm gonna need you to call in and say it yourself. How about that?
Yeah, I need to be calling.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to call in.
47025.
Yeah, I'm gonna need her to call in. That's too much for me to read. I'm gonna need to hear her say that.
Call in, Keena. Come on, call in.
I'm gonna need her to say that herself.
Wait a minute, you can't read all that. But you read all the big words my sister wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
But let me
proof
just
that I can
say
read a little bit.
something before Keena calls. Keena has 2 girls with sickle cell, and we support all families, but Keena has been one of the families that we've been supportive of, and I send her kids to camp. There are times when Christmas presents is hard on the family. We will provide them with Christmas presents, and just Saturday was her birthday, and we surprised the mess out of her.
Gotcha.
Shocked the mess out of her.
That's dope.
I was like, if I don't call the news so often and people are sick of me being on the news, that would have been such a nice story to cover. Because when we were in the hospital, one of her daughters reached out to me and she was like, Miss Mapiller, can I ask you something? And I really feel like she turned to other places and maybe just didn't know where to turn to, because she knew what we were going through, and she's friends with my kids, and she knew my daughter was in the hospital. And I was like, yeah, honey, what is it? And she was like, my mom's birthday is Saturday, but my sister's birthday is the 9th, which coincidentally happened to be my youngest daughter's birthday.
See,
but
I be listening.
But she was in Florida. And so I didn't get to see my baby on her birthday. And so she was like, my mom has spent all her money on us, and she doesn't have anything. She's not really going to do anything for her birthday. And so I thought about it. I was like, are we even going to be out of here on Saturday? Because you never know how long you're going to be in the hospital. Yeah. But long story short, Keena thought she was coming to my house for my baby's birthday party because she knew that she wasn't there. So I told her, we're going to have a surprise party for Hydra on Saturday.
It ended up being hers.
And it was hers. And she was shocked.
Awesome.
Good one. Co-pastor Janice Thompson, what's up, cuz? That's dope. So we got September 1st.
I hear an echo. I don't like the sound of my voice.
We got September 1st. What time are we kicking things off with the kickball tournament? No. We gotta go back to the serious stuff. But he had asked a question, so I want to make sure he get all the information.
Oh, absolutely. We we want the first kick or pitch to be at 9 o'clock. But we prefer the teams to start coming around 8:30, so we can, do the registration and different things like that, so that by 9 o'clock, the games are, on the way.
I don't have a problem with that. I won't ask no more kickball questions because I think I just got in trouble.
Do you have any questions about?
No, I'm gonna come back to that.
Okay.
Got me thinking about whooping people in kickball now.
Hey.
And Bobby says that they're fair game over 4 feet. So.
Oh yeah, we fight kids. We listen.
Over 4 feet.
Listen.
That's almost as tall as me.
What happened?
It's almost as tall as me.
Oh, I thought you said as tall as him because he's short too. He's in the toilet, his feet swing.
I'm 5'3" on a good day, so I cannot talk about height.
We walk tall though. We models. So,
Yeah, walk tall. All right,
yes,
that works.
That's what we do.
So I talk to us a little bit, because I even with what Keenan was saying,
right.
How you guys, with people that can't. Or you do the parking and all the stuff at the hospital.
Food vouchers. You've been doing your research. Look at you.
How often are you guys, if not for yourselves, but how often do you visit the hospital and kind of?
Well, I'll say for myself, I'm at the hospital at least once a month. And here's the.
Her face changed up and got serious. I promise you, I thought she was about to say once a day.
Oh no, at least once a month, and there are months where I'm there every week. And it's not easy, and you do need help sometimes.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons for this. Parking is $1 per visit, but when you're going through stuff, sometimes even $1 seems like $100.
High five for that dollar donation I got. Remember the post I put up? About the million of my friends give me $1, and I tell you how I became a millionaire on Facebook. She sent me $1.
He was like, it's a joke. I'm like, I know it's a joke. The joke is on you because you didn't see it coming.
Right.
But $1 sometimes seem like the hardest thing to come by. Sometimes when you're in situations where you have multiple kids, everybody needs you. But there's one that just needs you, especially if you have children. If your child really struggles with pain crises and you having to be in the hospital a lot, work is almost always non-existent. It's either that or you leave your child to go to work. And for a lot of moms, we can't do that. Like even me, I can't do it. $1 seems small, but just that parking pass, being able to validate their parking is a big deal.
And time, 8 seconds.
We also provide food vouchers.
Nice.
Because even for me, there are times we've had to go without snacking. And like I said earlier, we tend to suffer in silence. We're not going to come out and say, whew, I ain't got it. Can I just have something? And so when I leave these things with the hospitals, I make sure I tell them, this is not one of your, I'm sorry we weren't able to see you today. Here's an appeasement. This is a treat. I want you to give it to families. Definitely don't give it like water, but give them out because we are busting our tails here to raise funds to be able to keep providing. And families definitely need it.
Hey, Carter, you got the DTTO Show. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Jay Matthews calling from Norcross, Georgia.
Jay, what up? Norcross. One of the dopest photographers out here in the ATL. What's going on with you, bro?
Hey.
What's going on, Soccer Boss? What's going on, the guest and Miss V? How y'all doing?
Hi.
Coolin', bro.
Okay, the question I have for our guest is, how do you maintenance your emotions trying to help everybody else? Because I feel like that's a very stressful and I guess absorbing of your emotions. How do you maintenance? Who's your support system?
That is, thank you so much for that question.
Good question.
It's such it's a great question. I am very fortunate to have a village of people, whether it's friends, family, who support me. And going a little bit into my business, even sometimes support me financially when times are tough. I have a village who sometimes they know that I won't ask, you know, because like I said, we're so used to doing this silently. I won't ask, but they'll be like, okay, go home or just get out of here. We'll watch.
We got
We'll watch your child, or go to work.
Go do something.
Go do something.
Yeah. I know people
we
like that.
got this. I
I knew you was gonna say that.
I am blessed in that regard, but I also know that there are so many who don't have that support system. And I am a firm believer in the fact that God does not burden you beyond more than you can bear. I think
Absolutely.
I said that right. And I know I have my kids in spite of me. Like I said, my children are a product of an extremely abusive relationship. And in spite of me, because if it was up to me, and this is something that I have to deal with, if it was up to me, I wouldn't have all three of my kids. So knowing that, and there has to be something about me that God feels like I am strong enough to take this crappy disease on. And I've survived enough BS to be able to do this. So a lot of people, I will say, contact me just because, and I get contacted by people who go through sickle cell all over the country, sometimes across the globe through social media now, and they're like, how do you do it? Like, I have one child and I'm literally losing my mind. How do you do it? You just take it one day at a time. I do get stressed. I do get flustered. I do get overwhelmed. But I'm fortunate to have a support system who, like, if I need to talk to somebody, my sister's in the Army, and I call her, or my best friend, or, you know, my mom. My mom is my rock. My mom lives with me, and she's the reason why probably I have some sense of sanity, because I don't know what I would do if it was just me, and if I had to worry about the other children at home when I'm, you know, at the hospital. Yeah. So, yeah.
Shout out to Mom.
I hope I answer your question, but yeah.
Mom's rock.
I
have just a follow-up, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely.
And I guess it still goes along to the point of how do you refuel? I mean, we talk about our support system, awesome to have, but how, in your quiet time, how do you refuel? Understanding that God is our source, but I deal myself. I have type 2 diabetes. My mother is in a severe stage of Alzheimer's. My sister cared for